And welcome back, everyone. We are now 4 months past the deadly mass shooting at the Top supermarket here in Buffalo, and today the focus at the White House was on combating the type of hate that motivated that attack. The United We Stand summit today brought together everyone from the president and vice president to leaders from here in Buffalo and other cities, family members of Top's victims and others impacted by hate-filled violence. The goal was to educate people about the ideologies that lead to that type of violence and to try to stop it before it escalates into something like we saw here in Buffalo or at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando in 2016 or at the El Paso Walmart in 2019. There have been so many of these hate-filled attacks. In a moment, we're going to talk live with Buffalo Mayor Byron Brown, who is in D.C. for this important event. First, listen to what the president said earlier today about why he wanted to have this type of event at the White House.
I want to thank the civil rights organizations that called for such a summit after the evil came to Buffalo 4 months ago. My wife Jill and I, and she's teaching, that's why she's not here, traveled to Buffalo to grieve with families and deliver a message from deep in our nation's soul. In America, evil will not win.
Again, President Biden earlier today at the White House, and we are joined right now by Buffalo Mayor Byron Brown. Mayor, I know that it has been a heck of a day for you. There's a lot going on there. You're in a car now leaving from the White House, but I wonder if you can take a moment and just share with us the message that you really wanted to bring to this important summit that happened today.
Thank you very much, Michael. The message that I wanted to convey is that what happened in Buffalo on May 14th should not be forgotten. Federal resources are needed to support Buffalo. More has to be done to combat hate on social media, white supremacy. And it was clear from the United We Stand summit that Buffalo wasn't forgotten. It was top of the mind for the president, the vice president, many of the moderators and speakers, and the president and his staff and vice president laid out some concrete things that the federal government will be doing to support communities that have been hurt as a result of hate-inspired violence.
Yeah, when you talk about those concrete steps, Mayor, last half hour, our Kelly Dudzik mentioned some of them. For instance, I think it was $20 million in federal funding for law enforcement to kind of go after this type of targeted violence. But what more do you hope comes out of this summit? We heard from a lot of people today, victims of violence, academics, experts, policymakers. How do you think those words should be turned into action going forward?
Well, certainly money for law enforcement response, crime response, education is important. Money will be put in place from the federal government. The president vowed to continue to work for a ban on assault weapons, which I think is critically important. Average Americans do not need weapons of war. The president focused on radicalization of people through social media. That is a real danger. And the threat of domestic terrorism is at an all-time high. And Americans in Buffalo and all across the country need to stand united to combat it.
Finally, Mayor, of course, what happened here in Buffalo, honestly, just sort of unthinkable. The same with the targeted attacks and massacres that happened in Orlando and Pittsburgh and Charleston, South Carolina. It's so sad that we can go through a list of all these great American cities that have been through something like this. And a lot of people watching will ask, how do you stop that? If someone is so evil and so hate-filled to go after people just for their skin color, their religion, their sexual orientation, how do you stop that? I wonder if today's summit helped you have a better understanding of that answer.
Today's summit did help me have a better understanding of things that can be done. Education is critically important. Monitoring social media and what is put out on social media. Very important. It's important that weapons of war are not able to fall into the hands of the wrong people. So there are many things that can be done, but one of the main things that has to be done is the realization that this is a bipartisan issue. It's not a Democratic issue or Republican issue. It's an American issue, and we all need to stand together and work together to prevent hate-inspired violence from taking hold in urban, suburban, and rural communities all across our country.
And again, this summit coming 4 months and 1 day after the attack here in Buffalo, and Buffalo Mayor Byron Brown among those attending this summit at our nation's capital today. Thank you, sir, for being so flexible with us and for making this interview happen. I know it's been a very busy day and an important one, so thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you very much.